What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We are back in the world of Techromancer, and we've made some progress. If you guys will remember, last time we were over here, we were slumming it. We weren't doing so well. The Pyromaniac factory has been created, as you guys can see right here. Pretty nice sized factory. We will be doing much doom and gloom from here. As you can see, there is plenty of room here to expand and to grow this. Now, I let Poe helped me build this. I found what I wanted. I showed him, and then he did the actual construction of the place. But I showed him what I wanted, and then he decided to make me a nice fancy smeltery to go in here. And then I made the other 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should have some pretty decent bandwidth through here. I have all of these set up at the moment to where, you know, you have just a standard chest that'll feed into it. I need to get all of these set up. I haven't set these up yet, but eventually we'll have all of these set up just like this, except I'm probably either going to change this to 2 casting basins or just remove this for now. And then basically my plan is to figure out what materials do not make alloys. And for those guys who don't know what an alloy is, when you put, like, let's say ferrous and iron into one of these, it'll make Envar. That's an alloy. Well, if you're making a shit ton of different metals, you don't want alloys. Like, for instance, I mean, you may want alloys, but you don't want them made automatically. So we are going to be feeding eventually, and we may end up making another row if we need to, but I'm going to use Project Red to dump ores into each of these chests, which will then cycle through into these chests, and then we'll cycle out of those and into our storage system. Now, I'm probably going to build a basement here, and the basement here will be for the storage system. Either that, or we're going to make a second floor, maybe up there at the very, very, very top. Do you see where that little ledge is? We may make it there and maybe make an elevator to get there or something. But the majority of this floor down here is going to be for the actual physical factory. So we're going to have the processing right here where we're going to smelt all of the ores into metal, liquid metal. We're going to be making our blocks, and then we're going to be shipping those down into our further processes where we're going to be, you know, physically doing things with those different setups. So I need to go sleep real quick. Now, for those of you guys who may not have watched a couple of the videos, I've talked about this in a few different videos and a few different series. I'm not sure if I've actually talked about it here on Techromancer, which is kind of funny because considering it is the Techromancer idea or the Techromancer theme. But we're starting up the TDK space program, or the Pyromaniac space program, however you want to consider it or call it or think about it, whatever. And my goal is to get into space and then basically conquer space. Now, space, I think this will pull up space. You can see that we have, in this version, we have Earth, which is the top thing up in the top left. And then we have Mars, which is down in the southwest. So our goal is to eventually get to Mars, but like everything else, you have to crawl before you can walk. So first off, we're going to focus on getting enough materials for spaceships, getting enough fuel for, like, oil so that we can process that into fuel, and then we've got to actually build the ship. So we're going to first build a space station up there. Once we've got our space station, we'll try and make a moon base, and then once we're comfortable with our moon base, we'll then move to Mars, and hopefully we will eventually be able to terraform Mars and make Mars nice and friendly. But today we are going to start with Project Red. As much as I love refined relocation, it is a little bulky, and at least in this version, which is the 1.6 version, there's some issues with the mod. Specifically, you're not able to blacklist or whitelist things the way you're supposed to be able to. And I don't know if I've just misread things, but from the tutorials that I've seen, you should be able to type just like I have typed and be able to sort things, and for whatever reason that's not working. So there's a bug with our version of refine location. Please don't take that as me insulting the mod. The mod is definitely a great mod. It's just the 1.6 version that we are using more or less won't be able to do what I want to do. And so because of that, we're going to have to move to Project Red pretty much 100%, which is fine. The later versions of the mod will most likely have fixed these issues, and hopefully I'll be able to do a spotlight on those once we get to 1.7, and I can showcase those. So what we need to do now is I need to have a central storage system here, and then we need to have a way to get all of these things set up with pipes. So this is all Project Red here. Project Red is, it's not too complicated. Yeah, it is. It's very complicated. But once you get the few basics, you're pretty much okay. So more or less the way Project Red works is you've got tubes, which I'm currently trying to find. Here they are. You've got these different types of pipes, and these pipes do different things. You've got your transport pipe, which is going to move things, junction pipes, which basically turn things one way or another, routed interface pipes that allows you to route things to certain directions. Routed crafting pipes allows you to route items to a crafting machine or table or something along those lines. Request pipes allows you to request things. And extension pipes, I honestly don't know. And I'm not sure what a routed firewall pipe would be. I would assume the firewall would allow you to keep certain items from going in a certain direction if you didn't want them to. Now, all of these pipes are based off this item transport pipe. So for instance, you can see that the item transport pipe is pretty easy to make. It's just some cobblestone and a glass pane. Whereas routed junction pipe is a little bit more advanced, and it starts using all of these different little things here. Now this one comes off of a routed junction pipe. This one comes off a routed junction pipe. Pretty much, I was mistaken. I thought they all came off the item transport pipe. They all come off the routed junction pipe. So we will probably be using a lot of these and a lot of these, which will then transition into those. Now, the problem that we're going to run into is a lot of these require different Illimars, I guess is what they're called. And the Illimars are up here. These are all of the Illimars. You can see there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 16 different Illimars. Now, that's usually not too bad, except it does require 16 different colors. So we're going to need a lot of glowstone, and then we need a lot of different dyes. So we're going to need white dye. We're going to need some form of orange dye. We need magenta dye. We need blue. We need yellow. It's really quite in depth. And a lot of these require kind of like some hybridizations. Now, these would be really easy if we had dye essences. Unfortunately, we don't have access to this until we get to Mars, which means we're going to have to go out and we're going to have to start making like amalgams of colors. So one of the first things that we're really going to need before we can even really get started with Project Red is I'm going to need to get some of these different types of plants. Now, a lot of them are flower-based, and then you've got ink-based. They're all basically plant-based. So what we're going to need is we're going to need yellow, and we're going to need red, and we're going to need blue, green, and white. Those are basically, I believe, all the primary basic colors. Now, one of the things is I've never messed with these trees over here. I made myself over here in one of these, what do you call it? A garden? Yeah, a flower garden. I did that on purpose because I wanted to have access to these tree things here. Because if I write, these things up here are all, yeah, there you go. So we're getting, well, I thought we were going to get something from them. Apparently not. Yeah, nothing is dropping from these. So we have a giant flower stem, but there's nothing I can do with these. Really? So they're basically wood. Man, that sucks. That really blows. That really blows a big fat one. Like just, it's awful. Because I expected to be able to bust these colors up here and get the different colors, but no. So yeah, we're gonna have to go and find all these little plants. You can see these little flowers right here. They can give us dandelion yellow. We're gonna need a lot of this. We're also gonna need a lot of red, and we are gonna need a cactus farm. Cactus farm is gonna be the other big one. And then finally, unfortunately, we're also going to need some bone meal. And bone meal is gonna be kind of challenging because well, we don't have, at least personally, a skeleton spawner. So that's gonna be one of those things we're gonna have to get. I think we can also use this, yeah, we can use some of these to get some other ones like light gray, etc., etc. So I'm going to run around for a little bit until we get a decent collection of these. I'm also going to have to run way out here. Now, let me zoom out right here. This is where our little, I have a waypoint over here. We're going to have to run over here. In fact, I think I have, let's see, home. Which one of those is it? it's one of those. I'm gonna have to go through all of my different homes until I find the right one, and then we'll transport over there. It's one of the different homes that I have set up. They're actually underground, but the nice thing about it is you can just go to the surface and grab what you need. So give me a few minutes to run around and grab all these different plants and such, and we will pick up there. So while out hunting for various types of plants and colors and all sorts of things, I noticed there was some redstone up on this hill. So redstone's... Are you seriously telling me I can't break it? Oh my god. Alright, set home, redstone. We'll just set that there. I'm definitely going to want to come back and get that. I mean, it kind of blows that I can't take it with me now, but probably a good thing. Now, I am a little curious as to what this red stuff is over here. If that turns out to be a natural blood formation, I might be able to trade and or sell that for, I think Lemon them. They use blood magic at the moment, or I think they do. So I'm a little curious if this is just a biome thing, and it may just be a biome thing, or if it's actually like freaking blood, because depending on which it is, this could be very interesting. One of the other things is if this turns out to be ash, ash is actually something that can be used. Okay, so this doesn't hurt. Definitely don't want to step on. Yes, this is ash blocks. Ash blocks right here can be used to make gray dye, I believe. At least I think. Yep. So gray dye. So this is going to be one of those nice, wonderful things. So we're going to go ahead and use our shovel on this. I don't think... Yeah, it's not been set up with vein miner. I need to set that up. But as you can see right here, very easy for me to get some nice gray dye out of this, which is one of the many different dyes that we'll need. So let me go ahead and set home ash. Here we go. So we've got that set up as well. All right, well, I'm going to keep hunting different types of plants and such, and then we'll get back to the base, and I'll show you guys what some of these plants are, what some of the dyes that they're going to give us, and why they're freaking cool. All right, so we've come to the nether, and we're looking for the last two plants that I need from here. I'm going to pop these. These are fire seeds, and again, I'm going to show you guys where all of these come from here in a bit. I just wanted to... Man, it's stupid that netherrack doesn't count. I wanted to show you guys all the different seeds, and I planned on going and actually getting the flowers, but the problem with the flowers is when you get flowers, you can't really grow them. Now, if you have bees, bees will spawn certain flowers around them, but only certain types. So you can't get every type of flower off of one, set of bees. Not only that, but they have a tendency to not reproduce. Like you can't get flowers to just spontaneously grow, 100 red. So one of the nice things is PneumaticCraft, they are highly reproducible. You can plant these and regrow them and do all sorts of cool things with them. So I'm going to gather these last few plants that we need. As you can see, we've got quite a few here, and then I'll show you what all of them do. All right, so we're going to take a look at PneumaticCraft plants now. Now, as I was saying earlier, these plants they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. They're almost virulent. For those of you guys who don't know what that large word means, they spread like a virus. Most of them have their own propagation methods, and because of this, they can be spread in different ways. So as you can see right here, there's no squids inside this little pin here, okay? So we're gonna just start tossing these around, and they should replant. They should. Actually, this is liquid essence. That's not gonna work. I just realized this isn't water. For a second there, I was like, well, I don't understand why it's not growing. Each of these different plants can grow on a specific substance, but they can only grow on that substance. So, for instance, this looks like water, but it's not water. It's liquid essence. I don't know what liquid essence is because we haven't gotten into Ars Magica yet. I'm sure one of the wizardry type folks will be able to tell you. All right, well, let's try this again over here. So I'm going to throw this, and it should plant. There you go. Throw another one. Hopefully it'll plant before it goes too far away. Just throw a few of these here. It's very weird that they're not planting. Well, we did get one of them to plant, so that's a good thing. There we go. There's 2. I'll just keep throwing them around. There's 3. There's 4. Well, it will be 4 here in a second. There we go. Now they're planting. And this one may have 2 in it, that's why. Anyways, these right here are squid plants. And the way squid plants propagate is by squids. So basically, if you don't have any squid plants, but you have squids, kill some squids, and there's a chance that they'll drop some of these seeds right here. And you can see right there it says soil, it says water. That means it'll only spawn in water. So you can't put it on dirt, which is, you know, obvious. You can't put it in liquid essence like I tried. It has to be on water. And the way it propagates or spreads or whatever you want to call it is by spawning squids. So all of these are basically going to turn into squid spawners here in a bit. Well, I mean, they don't turn into squid spawners. They look just like they do right now, but they will create squids underneath them. And then if I were to go through and kill those squids, we would end up with more and more seeds. And then basically you just keep replanting them, etc., etc. Now, a few of you guys may be like, well, okay, what do you need squids for? Well, squids, number one, can produce black dye. So that's one of the critical components that we're going to need for Project Red. Not only can they produce black dye, but you can also use these to make ink sacs directly. So I don't necessarily have to actually go in here and kill the squids. I can just take the seeds when they inevitably spawn, and I can just turn those into more ink sacs. And that'll allow us to make black, which is one of the dyes that we will be needing. I was hoping to plant and get an even number, but this one right here is choosing to be difficult. Now, I believe these will not do their thing until they're full grown. I think you have to wait till they're a little taller. You'll understand they look fairly phallic in nature. For those of you guys with no vocabulary, phallic means kind of like a penis head. That's probably not really accurate, but either way, that's what they look like. All right, so now we've got another seed type that we're going to be looking at. This one here is called propulsion. Propulsion, it can make orange dye, which is another dye that we're going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up real quick, make sure these are all cleared out so we can set this up. And then I'm going to try and plant this right here. And hopefully it will plant. Come on, plant. They bounce sometimes, which makes them problematic. Now this can be planted here, right? Yes, dirt, grass, or farmland. I'm not quite sure why they're not planting. You have to be careful to make sure that they don't stack, and you have to be careful to make sure... Whoa! You see how it's gliding like that, and it just flew over here? That's the way the seed propagates. Basically, the way it happens... Let's go ahead and just open these all up. Basically what happens is when this plant spawns, it kind of shoots on the ground. See how it's just sliding across the ground like that? Well, when it grows to maturity, it starts spitting 2 or 3 seeds out, and they go at what it calls a low vector, and it just goes until it plants. So that, you know, with that setup, it can actually grow pretty big area. I mean, you get these things to kind of start opening up. I'm going to try and get it to plant over there by the door. Okay, come on. Yeah, I'm not having much luck with these. They kind of hate me. Come on, plant, damn it. Oh, this is annoying. It may be because it's day or it's nighttime. So because of the video, we're going to go ahead and do time/day. I could go over there and sleep, but I'm just not going to bother with it. All right, so let's try this again. Oh, come on, plant. Work for me here, buddies. Work for me here. Really shouldn't... Whoa. God, they just fly everywhere. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So that's how these propagate. Why they're not planting, I'm not sure. We're going to go ahead and make a hoe real quick, and we're going to see if that works for us. Oh, come on, Enderman. Please don't make me look at you. I really don't want to look at you. I would really rather not be killed by a giant black alien man while we're working on doing our video, if that's acceptable for you, Mr. Enderman. Since you are the giant alien man, you kind of get to make that choice. And so if you want to, you know, rip me limb from limb, not much I can do to stop you. All right, so we're just going to make one out of wood. I'm not really concerned with having, you know, a lot of viability here. I'm going to try and do one thing here that I didn't think of doing earlier that may help. Oh, no, that is right. Yeah, I guess there's no hose. Yeah, I guess Iguana Tweaks has gotten rid of the hose. Son of a bitch. Do we have cobble? We do have cobble. I don't know if the cobble hose are enabled. They may not be. I may have to make a Paxel here. I think Paxels are in. Yeah, not there. Let's see. Paxel? Is the Paxel in? Paxel. Give NEI a sec to update. I thought we had... Oh, that's right. Isn't that part of ICBM? Well, shit. Let's look at the hose. Are there any hose available? You can see that they are here, but I don't think I can make them. We'll try an iron hoe real quick. Because it's higher up on the scale. Sometimes the Iguana Tweaks doesn't tweak with it. If not, I'll have to make a mattock real quick, and I really would prefer not to have to make a mattock. Please don't make me make a mattock. Thank you. I think it was because I was doing the other recipe, taking it from middle to right as opposed to middle to left. Who knows? Who knows? All right, so we're going to try one other thing real quick. What is that? I'm not quite sure what that is flying around. That may be Lem. All right, so we're going to come over here. We're going to try and open this area up a little bit real quick. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This should be farmland. So I'm going to put this here, and we're going to put this here. And then we're going to put that there. That is now farmland. And then we're going to just drop this propulsion seed in there. There it goes. Whew! Got it to plant. Booyah! All right, so that right there, here in a few minutes, when that grows up, and unfortunately none of these are growing up, so I can't show you. But once it grows up, it's going to start spitting seeds out like this. And they're just going to slide along the ground just like that until they find a location to spread to. And they'll just keep moving. They'll just keep moving. And eventually, they will find a... Did it just plant? No, I picked it up. Okay. Eventually, it'll find a location that it likes, and it'll stick with there. Now, as I said earlier, this one can make orange dye. So that's going to be kind of nice. That's going to be kind of nice. All right, so these are potion plant seeds. Potion plant seeds are created by potion effects. So, for instance, let's say you have a splash potion of healing or a splash potion of harming. Any of those. If I decide to, throw that down on the ground, there is a possibility that this seed will appear. And if it appears, then it can be planted again. Now, for whatever reason, these are being stupid. It may only work on farmland for some reason. It should, as you can see right here, it'll work on dirt, grass, or farmland. I'm thinking these are long grass blocks, and that may be why it's not working. That's the only thing I can think of, is long grass blocks technically qualify as something different. So, maybe. Now, the cool thing about these seeds here, let me go ahead and dig one of these up so I can show you the effect. First off, they can turn into pink dye, which is nice. The other cool thing about these is periodically, they will make a potion cloud. So, for instance, when they grow up, which again, none of these have yet, so I can't show you. When they grow up, they'll emit this like mist or whatever you want to call it. And that mist will have a potion effect. So for instance, healing, regeneration, harming, I don't know any of the other, slowness, haste, all these different potion effects. And that cloud is how they spread. So they will eventually spread out on their own, which is kind of cool. Now the burst plant is kind of similar to the propulsion plant. I don't think they go flying though. They may go upwards. No, they don't. This one just kind of spits seeds out, and they'll kind of just explode and go and do what they need to do. So we're gonna plant one here. Go ahead, and one here. There we go. So this is gonna bust open here in a bit, and it will send 3 or 4 seeds out, and they will go and fly down. So that's gray dye. That's gray dye. Another thing that we're going to want. I don't know if liquid essence counts as a hydration. I'm hoping it does. If it does, that will be a positive. If it doesn't, it will suck balls. We'll find out here in a minute if this stuff starts going gray on us. It does look like they're fine though. All right, so we've looked at those. Let's look at the slime plants. Slime plants. Now, slime plants, I believe, make lime green. No, they make cocoa beans. Cocoa beans. So if you want to make plants or something along, or what is it, cookies and things along those lines, these are nice to have. These propagate, here I'm going to throw that down and get some distance. There we go. These propagate by producing slimes. When a slime spawns, you kill the slime, and the slime has a chance of spawning one of these little seeds. And then you kill the slime, and you know, plant more seeds, etc., etc. So that's how these propagate. That's how these propagate. Slimes are good to have around because you can use them for the variety of different slimy things. So we're going to hang on to those. Now this is a flying seed. Flying seeds. Now these are weird. These are weird. I don't think this one will actually propagate effectively. And I'm not quite sure how I'm going to make a farm out of these because these suck. These are awful. These are awful. And I'm going to show you guys why. I have one seed here. Let's see. It's too big. We're going to come over here real quick and I can show you. These actually fly, as their name says. Now, I don't know if they stay flying permanently or if they just fly for a while. Oh god. Is there a spider in here? Okay, sounded like a spider just got his ass whooped. Alright, so we got flying flower seeds. So right here, I spit this out and you can see it flies. It's up there in the air. And I believe it does slowly fly back down over time. See how it's blowing in the wind? That's kind of the wind effect, I guess. And you can see it's just going to kind of float around. And I believe eventually it will hit the ground again. When it hits the ground, it will plant another little plant. And these are very interesting propagations. Very interesting. It's almost natural. So you can have this really cool farmland and you can kind of like spread these out over time. Now, again, like I said, since this is long grass blocks, it technically doesn't work because they can't spread. But it does make it really hard for me to plant one of these because if I throw it down, oh, it may actually plant. Here, let's try again. Is it gonna make it? Oh, come on, plant, you little bastard. As you can see, they just kind of blow around. So it makes them very tough to plant. So in this little situation, it's going to be very hard for me to have a farm of these because they're going to be so virulent. They're going to just spread all over the place. So we're going to have a hard time with the white ones. What I'll probably end up doing is making an indoor... why am I moving? I think it's because I have these in my hand. I think it makes me lighter. That's kind of cool. But these can be used to make bone meal, which can be used to make white dye. So that's kind of cool. All right, so the lightning plant. Now these are kind of freaky. These are kind of freaky here. Way lightning plants spread is by lightning strikes. So basically, when it rains, lightning will strike around these, and that will spawn new seeds, which will then plant more plants, which will then cause more lightning strikes. So you want to be very careful with these. You don't want to have them too close to your wooden hut because it will end badly for you and for anyone else that happens to unfortunately live near you. So it's kind of a mess. Kind of a mess, but they're really cool. They're really cool because you can basically make lightning if you so choose. So, you know, if you're one of those weird people that likes the sound of lightning and scary noises, then those are the plants for you. Those are the plants for you. Now, I don't know if lightning strikes actually do any physical damage to things other than what they hit and like fire damage. But it's possible, I guess, that it could actually mess up the rest of your farm. So I haven't seen them yet. They won't do it until it grows. Otherwise, I would show you now. But they're kind of a cool little feature. All right, so next we have the repulsion plants. Now, if you remember these right here, where the propulsion plant, how that came at a low angle, so it looked like it kind of slid on the ground. These come out at what they call a high angle, and you can see how it just bounced. That's what they do. They just bounce until they find their little happy home. They'll just bounce around. Sadly, it is proving rather challenging to get them to plant where I want. These seeds don't exactly cooperate and plant where you want them, so you just kind of got to deal. These are going to give me lime dyes, another dye that we need. All right, so we have rain plant seeds. Rain plant seeds. So if we put these over here, there we go. Now, the way these propagate is whenever it rains, they produce a rain cloud near them. And I don't know if it's like a visual effect that you can see, but that spawns seeds and then they grow. And that's how that works. I am going to go ahead and reset it today real quick just so we can continue on with this. The rain seeds make lapis lazuli, which can be used as blue dye. Blue dye. All right, so now we have the chopper plants. The chopper plants. Here we go. Now, I believe these just spit seeds out, and that's all they do. I don't remember specifically what the chopper ones do. I believe they just shoot out seeds occasionally, and that goes about its business. The chopper plant gives you light blue dye. Light blue dye, another one that we need. Creeper plants. Creepers are cool, right? Everybody likes creepers? Yeah? Yeah? Way creepers work is they explode. When they grow to full height, they will explode 3 or 4 seeds, and the seeds will go flying out everywhere, and then they'll spread. So, like, if you don't like somebody pisses you off, and you want to get them back, you just go over and you just plant a bunch of creeper seeds near their base, and, like, by the end of the week, their whole front yard is going to be overthrown by exploding plants. Now, I don't think the plants do any damage to you, but they can be annoying with all the explosions. These will produce cactus green. If you prefer, you can always make a cactus farm, but I think creepers are just a little bit cooler. Although it's your base, you can do it however you want. So, you know, whatever floats your boat. All right, so those are all the overworld seeds. Those are all the seeds that will grow on the surface of the planet. We're going to be covering some seeds now that don't grow on the surface. These are non-overworld plants. Now, I believe these will grow even though we're not in the nether, but we're going to find out. So there are 2 different types of seeds here in the nether. Oh, please plant. There we go. These are fire flower seeds, and they make rose red. So if you don't like roses, you can use these. Now, the way these spread is when they mature, which we're starting to see over here. These aren't quite done, but they're getting close. These right over here, that's about the mid-maturation process. When these mature, they start emitting this little fire effect. And that fire effect is how they spread. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to want to be around when that fire effect happens for obvious reasons, because, you know, fire burns. So unless you just like being extra tasty crispy, you might want to avoid those when they're getting adults. Now, this last little seed here is kind of a pain in the ass. This one right here is the hardest seed to gather, or at least it was for me. And the reasoning behind that is because it floats. It's lighter than air, and that's how it propagates. And because of that, you actually have to have a ceiling for them to grow, because they don't, you know, they're not normal plants. They're cooler than normal plants. They need to grow in the sky. So, and of course it has to be the netherrack. So here we go. Just do one more little row, and then we ought to be good. All right. I want to make sure they have room to actually grow in. Am I already? Wow, I'm actually out. So we're going to be careful here. I thought I had enough netherrack. We had over a stack, but apparently we don't. All right, so where's the helium plant? You can see I only have 1 helium plant. The reason I only have 1 helium plant is they're very hard to gather. You have to actually climb up to the ceiling of the nether to get them. And I had a very angry ghast shooting at me. So we're just going to spit this out right there, and you can see it's floating on the ceiling. And boom. So the way this one propagates is it spits seeds out, which then float along the ceiling, and then replant, and then spit out, and then float along the ceiling and replant. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Now, the problem with these is the gathering of them. The gathering of them. So, at least in the nether, I had a real problem with it. Well, they're going to cooperate on now. It took me like 10 minutes to get this one. Now, this is dandelion yellow. Honestly, dandelion yellow is pretty easy to get. You know, you may not want to go through the trouble of doing these, but that's completely up to you. Finally, the last one is the ender plant seeds. The ender plant seeds. Now, these drop purple dye. These have to grow on endstone, which unfortunately I don't have. I can make endstone, but we're not at that point yet. So we're just going to have to kind of deal with it at the moment. But ender plant seeds spawn at the point of an enderman's teleportation. So if an enderman teleports near you, it's possible that this seed will drop. When that seed drops, it then plants, and it just kind of goes from there. Now, I don't know if these will actually cause teleportation. I do know when the seed busts out, it teleports away and then plants at a random location. So you kind of have these seeds just just teleporting around. So that's kind of cool. So these are all of the PneumaticCraft plants. All of them have their own little cool propagation methods. Some of them are cooler than others. Some of them are downright annoying. And some of them just kind of do some really, really interesting stuff. Now, unfortunately, as I was telling you guys, my base is in a biome that kind of makes it unfortunate to grow these with. So it's going to be kind of challenging because I'm basically going to have to chew up all of the dirt and turn all of this long grass blocks into farmland. The nice thing is once it's turned into farmland, it's no longer this long grass block. So even though it's going to turn back into dirt, it doesn't seem like a normal grass block. It doesn't seem it's going to turn back into this long grass block. So as long as I just, you know, kind of mess all of this up one time, even when it turns back to normal dirt, it's not going to respread. And then we can just kind of let all of this stuff expand as we go. So I am going to probably eventually use more of these seeds than others, but I did want, for the sake of the video, to show you guys all of the different setups that these guys can do. Now you can see right over here, this one is, I believe, a fully grown plant, or very, very close to a fully grown plant. Now I believe over time, this little guy is going to spit out squids, and those squids, when killed, will then spit out more seeds, which will allow basically this whole place to slowly propagate and turn into a giant swarm of these different plants. So I'm probably not going to touch these anymore. I'm probably just going to let them naturally propagate, which is one of the cool things about these. It's an automated farm that you don't necessarily have to mess with. And you just check on it every once in a while and make sure that, you know, you've got enough of the quantity that you need, and you can just kind of go from there. So I will probably use most of these for all of the different colors that we're going to need once we get into Project Red. But that's probably going to take a couple hours because we're going to have to, you know, harvest and replant and all of those. But the nice thing is we'll easily be able to make all of these Illumars, or Illumars, however it's pronounced, without having to, you know, have... It's pretty much the only way we're going to be able to grow these and reproduce these that I'm aware of. So hopefully you guys found this PneumaticCraft little example system setup as interesting as I did. I think these plants are freaking amazing. One of the coolest ways to farm that I've ever seen in Minecraft. And I'm looking forward to seeing, especially once I get a wider swath of this area converted to normal dirt. I think we're going to prank somebody with the creeper plants. I'll head over to their base and throw out a few of those, and they're just going to hear all these explosions all the time. See if we can't creep the hell out of them. So anyways, guys, if you like this video, make sure you slap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.